And as she bravely waives her anonymity, we are joined by one of his victims, Kayleigh Morgan. And thank you so much for being here today. I have nothing but pure admiration for you sitting here and being able to talk about this. And it's so important. And the reason that you want to do this is because you want other people to come forward, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, let's start at the very beginning of this, because 2010, you've just graduated and you got a job as a holiday rep in Kavos, and you're 22 years old. And this was a way for you to see the world. This was a bit of a dream job for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I was having such a good summer. It was, you know, meeting people, having the most amazing time. Right. From a little resort called Kavos into the main resort of Kavos. And I was walking down the road and I felt a presence behind me. And as I turned to look, he was hunched over like an animal and he was running after me. I sort of thought, right, I'll speed up. He came up level with me. He asked me for the time, but he didn't really want to know the time. As I sort of went to answer him, he started hitting me repeatedly in the face, grabbed me by my hair, pulled out a huge knife and dragged me off into the woods.
And he took your phone off you?
He did take my phone off me, yeah. He took my phone off me, took it apart so that nobody could get hold of me.
And this was the beginning of a 14-hour horrifying ordeal.
Yeah.
You were raped numerous times.
Yeah, 5 times.
5 times.
14 hours.
During this time, I mean, the horror of what was going through your head, you were thinking about your mum, you were thinking about whether or not you'd come out of this alive.
Yeah, I had no idea what kind of a person, you know, what he was actually capable of doing. I knew he was capable of rape. What photo is my mum going to use for my missing body? You know, what photo of mine is going to be all over the newspapers? Is anyone ever going to find me if he disposes of my body? How long is he going to keep me for? What else is coming?
He had stolen all your money?
Yeah, he took my money.
How did you get away?
After a few hours, he had a phone call from one of the local bar owners, and they'd said, look, we know you've got one of the holiday reps.
How did they know?
He was notorious for it. Everybody knew him for it. He'd been in and out of prison since, I think he was 18, committed his first rape at 15. So he was well known. His nickname is Jimmy the Rapist, and that's how everybody knows. Yeah, everybody knows him.
So because he wasn't around, they just assumed that that's what he was doing?
Yeah. Yeah, they knew there was a girl gone missing. They knew he'd been on a bit of a rampage throughout the summer, and they put 2 and 2 together. So because he knew people were looking for me, he decided to let me go. But it was a long process. It was very much still on his terms.
He said if you go to the authorities, then...
he would kill me.
He was going to kill you.
Yeah.
But you did.
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
And so you go, and that's incredibly brave, because many people don't, but you did.
Yeah.
So then to discover that they have a picture of this guy and they go, is this the guy that did it to you? Yeah. They knew him. You said, he was notorious.
They knew what he was doing. And why wasn't he behind bars? Why wasn't he being watched closer? You know, for me to walk in and say the words, I've been raped, they said, sit down. They fetched his mugshot and said it was him, wasn't it? And I just felt sick.
And we've got our reporter out there who we're going to talk to in a moment, who's actually confronted him. But do you sense a protection from the locals for him?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think he's working in a bar over there, so people are obviously, you know, they're offering him work. I just feel like he's been protected by the whole country.
Because the thing is, it looked like everything was going in the right direction. You can't. He'd admitted to raping 4 British women in 2010. He was sentenced to 52 years.
Yeah.
So you think, I mean, there must be part of it that goes, right, this can't take away what happened, but at least I know he's in the right place. 52 years, he's away. No one else is going to get hurt by this man. And then in August, you receive a phone call saying, actually, he's out for good behaviour, whether or not whilst he was in prison. I mean, you just can't understand, you can't comprehend how after just 7 years, 8 years, that he's back.
I know.
Back out again.
Yeah. It was the fact that we were told there's no chance of parole. And for them to say to me, you know, go away, enjoy your life. He will never do this again.
Well, the judge sat down with you,
Yeah,
didn't
she did. She said, I want to apologise on behalf of my country. You come over here, you bring us tourism for an economy that's struggling, and this should never have happened to you. And don't worry, he'll never walk free again.
So how did you feel when you found out?
It felt like justice had been done back then. And then when I found out he was out, I just thought, where's my justice? You know, how is this fair to me or to any of the other victims or to potential victims that he, you know, in time, I'm sure he's going to get.
Well, with Aspiotis still roaming freely the streets of Kavos, we have sent our producer, David Blackmore, out to Corfu to find out more. Morning, David.
Morning, David.
Morning.
So we're going to show in a moment the footage of you confronting Aspiotis. How easy was it to track him down?
It's been difficult this week, not because of not knowing where he's going to be. The difficulty has been, like Kayleigh was just saying there, the locals seem to be protecting him. Now, everywhere that we went that we were tipped off that he was in, he'd quickly get a phone call, and before long, he'd legged it somewhere else. So we were playing sort of catch up with him the whole time. But the video that we have where we confronted him, he actually was in that bar. We sat outside for 90 minutes. He was getting no calls. So we was able to sort of watch him. We was able to see what he was doing. And like in most of the other bars we saw, he just sits at the bar, charging his phone, posting stuff on social media. And it was after about 90 minutes that a local who'd been eyeballing me for the best part of an hour went into the bar and said to him, look, there's someone outside. And then that's when he came running out. And that's when I confronted him to sort of put the questions that I'm sure Kayleigh would want to sort of ask him.
And here is that moment.
David at ITV this morning.
Don't do that.
Why not?
Because I don't want.
What about all the women that you raped? What about all the women that you attacked? Have you got anything you'd like to say to them? Have you got anything you want to say to them right now?
This is my format, okay?
Do you not show any remorse at all for the women that you attacked, all the women you raped? Show no remorse whatsoever for those people? No? You got nothing you'd like to say?
And so, David, having confronted him, what's the reaction been like from the locals now?
Well, at the beginning, the locals were very... They didn't really give us a lot of information about where he was going to be or whatever. But as soon as I confronted him, word got around very quickly. And I think very much we were the hated people of Kavos. They are desperate for the story to go away. They're struggling year after year with the number of British tourists coming out here. This was a particularly bad year for them. And they're saying that this could really be, this story itself, could be the final nail in the coffin for people here in Kavos.
Well, you would think that that they would understand the ludicrous sentence that he'd been given, the fact that he was out so early, that it's actually him that's harming the tourism, not the fact that the film crews are out there reporting on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what they say to me is that, look, they think it's disgusting, they don't want him here, they don't want him along the strip, they don't want him to come into the bars. But the problem they have is they're powerless. Powerless for two reasons. The first reason is that they claim, the bar owners here claim, that if they refuse to let him into their bar, that they will be arrested. It's the Greek law. I've disputed this with them, but they say that's the first reason why they feel powerless not to shoo him away. The second reason is they're worried about what impact that he might have, or his associates, as they say, are going to have on their bar. Now, bearing in mind that they're already struggling with cash and already struggling with their business, they're worried that any impact, whether it's their bar being smashed up, that is going to have another financial impact. So whilst they don't agree with it, they keep saying, the message that I'm getting here from Kavos is, don't blame us, blame the Greek government.
All right, thank you, David, very much indeed. Well, we've repeatedly asked the British Embassy in Athens for a statement. They haven't responded to our requests. We also can't get through to the British consulate in Corfu. I know that David's tried to speak to the authorities in Kavos, but all to no avail. What do you say to any woman who's planning on taking a trip to Kavos?
Don't do it. You know, he's been released under this new law and, you know, they're bothered about the tourism, or they claim that they're bothered about the tourism. But how can they be when they let a rapist on the loose again to attack more women? A notorious rapist.
That the locals protect.
And the locals are
phone up and
protecting
warn.
him.
Thank you very much indeed. How are you now?
Yeah, I'm OK. I'm bearing up, yeah.
Obviously a tough time afterwards, but...
Yeah, definitely.
But you have picked life up and...
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. I always say he took 14 hours of my life. He's not having any more.
Well done, you.
Very much.
Thank you very much.